Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's news and headline: Ellie Gonsalves swaps privileged lifestyle for 10 days of being homeless. Yes, that's right, an Australian model detailed the Friday night she spent with a group of men in filthy condition during a 10-day homeless stint. Okay, let's have a look and see what the fuss is on about.
It's really intimidating coming to a house of 9 men. Like, I can't imagine being a woman coming out of domestic violence and having to deal with all of this. And, like, people are expected to live here. I actually can't believe people are expected to live like this. Like, this is actually more shitty than sleeping on the street.
Okay, so there is a homeless crisis in Australia and it's getting worse. The latest census data shows 116,000 people in Australia have no place to call home. Alarming statistic prompted five high-profile Australians, including model and actress Ellie Gonsalves, to swap their privileged lifestyles for 10 days of being homeless in New South Wales. Gonsalves, 29, reveals what it is like going from having everything to having absolute nothing. I was stripped of all my belongings. Last year, I spent 10 days homeless in Sydney in the middle of winter. I was stripped of all my belongings, my phone, my ID, money, clothes, and given second-hand clothes to wear, a sleeping bag, and put on the streets to live. I wasn't allowed any outside communication. I was homeless and completely alone. My experience living homeless was SBS documentary series Filthy Rich and Homeless. It gives me an opportunity to experience what it's like for 116,000 Australians who sleep rough every night. Okay, well, she is glamorous in her day job, but now this is incredible thing she's doing. In the second season, the participant of filmed during summer. This season, Aaron Wood, Andrew Rochford, Pauline Nguyen, Karinian Lyons, and I were filming in the middle of rainy Sydney winter. I had a good education growing up, living a comfortable life, and being in modeling and entertainment industry. I have traveled around the globe to work with some of the most well-known brands and people in the world. If I'm completely honest, when I initially approached to take part in the documentary series, I was completely closed off to the idea. I was asked to do something and be around people I had conditioned my entire life to avoid it. It was scary. Now, this is just like a wider promotion of the documentary they filming already made in Australia. What it's like to be homeless. So they're just a bunch of like famous people in Australia try to experience what it's like to be homeless.
Absolutely smell of urine.
Through the eyes of 5 people willing to confront their privilege and face a stark reality.
So after thinking about it, I knew I had a voice and a large platform to create change within our society, or at least raise awareness to the ongoing issue of homelessness in Australia. I knew it would be an opportunity to help others and potentially change the circumstances of homelessness in our country. We are a product of our experiences, and I feel like we help people more by understanding their circumstances firsthand and how we can move forward as a society to find better solutions. Until this, homelessness wasn't something I felt exposed to growing up in Australia, even though I had experienced a degree of what homelessness looked like while living in LA. I can honestly say I knew nothing. Okay, this is the poster for the documentary series that is yet to be aired in Australia. Okay, some people have pointed out that 5 of us were just visitors in a real and horrific reality, as we're only living through the experience for 10 days. Then we got to return to our privileged lives. But this series isn't about how long we can be homeless for. It's about people who generally sleeping rough. Their stories, how inadequate our current situation are to this issue, and how to shine more of a spotlight on homelessness in the hopes of bringing positive change. Professionals and organizations that I spoke with throughout the experience worked tireless on these issues and give me another perspective and help me understand the harsh reality of homelessness as well. The people who live their life sleeping rough, who go without money, shelter, food, support, feeling safe, communication, and sometimes without eye contact and smile absolutely broke me. Several men heckled me on the street. This experience was mostly deliberating. I watched a man overdose and be relieved by emergency management teams or EMTs or paramedics. Then watch a man being pursued by the police, then hit by a car and thrown across the road. Throughout the whole experience, I barely slept because I was so anxious about my surroundings. After several men heckled me on the street, I had bruises over my body from sleeping on the ground or whenever I could find a shelter. I don't think I hit a real breaking point until I was in a boarding house with 9 men. It was the filthiest place I ever stayed. I would never forget those few nights. My outhouse bathroom windows were smashed, my toilet door did not lock or close. I had cockroaches crawling over me in my sleep. As a woman, it was incredibly confronting and frightening. There was nothing there was not nearly enough solutions in place to help people get back on their feet or even give them somewhere safe to live, especially if they were running from domestic or sexual violence. I come into this experience as someone who was very uneducated about homelessness, and I felt with so much more empathy and understanding. I feel inspired to do my part towards consciously shining a light on this serious social issue in Australia, and I'm so proud to have the opportunity with an entire team that create and produce the show. Since the announcement of my involvement in the series, many have asked, how can I help with homelessness? We can start by respecting and acknowledging rough sleepers, donate money, clothing to charity, volunteer with the homeless organization in your area, and you can advocate for homeless people by helping groups in your community whose policy and initiatives support the goal of ending homelessness. I encourage all Australians to watch this series to get a better understanding of how people find themselves in these situations, and in turn, I hope they can express greater kindness towards the homelessness. If we can all exercise more compassion, generosity, and understanding, I believe we will reach the right places. Filthy Rich and Homeless premieres June the 9th to 11th at 8:30 on SBS. That's the channel in Australia. So you might able to watch it online by going to sbs.com.au, but I'm not sure if that's available to overseas viewers. Anyway, if you enjoy this content and you like to subscribe to my channel, feel free to do so. If you have any thoughts on the story, please put your comments in the comments section. And I hope you have a good day.